Hello Archivists, welcome back to our channel. We are Six-Sided Scribes, and today we actually have a guest coming in with his army today. This is Kevin, and he's bringing his wonderfully painted Word Bearers army. Say hi, Kevin.
Hey, I'm Kevin, and you see my Word Bearers army fight against the Space Wolves.
Yes, it's a red versus blue. And since we're doing new things today, we're bringing you a Tempest of War. So we are going to be playing this off by the seat of our pants. Well, if you like what you see, and if you've seen our other videos, do like and subscribe. The button's right down below. You'll also find a link to a little short teaser that we would have released a few days earlier. It'll give you a little backdrop of what these armies are doing at this battlefield today. And with that, let's get into our armies. Today, for the Space Wolves, I'm bringing a 2000 points battalion. Now, I am running them as a successor chapter with the Born Heroes trait, which gives me a +1 to hit whenever I charge. And the Whirlwind of Rage means whenever I charge, get charged, or heroically intervene, my 6s to hit in melee explode. Now, this will pair very well with my Space Wolf Super Doctrine, which means whenever a unit's in Assault Doctrine, when I'm hitting our 6s in melee, my 6s will double explode, so beware. Now, coming into my army is being led by a Primar's Chaplain on bike. He is my Warlord. I've paid the points to make him a Master of Sanctity, which lets him know and cast one additional litany. With that, I've given him 2 Warlord traits. The first one is the Wise Orator, letting his litany pass on a better roll. His second Warlord trait is my tried and true, the Saga of the Hunter, which means he can advance and charge, fall back and charge, and he gets a +1 to advance and charge. In addition to that, I've also given him the Benediction of Fury, which is a very powerful relic. Moving on, I've got a Librarian on Jump Pack. Again, I've paid the points to make him a Chief Librarian, letting him know and cast 1 additional psychic power. He knows the Stormcaller, which gives me a 6-inch aura of light cover. Instinct Awaken, which lets me point and put a unit in the Assault Doctrine. And he's got Murderous Hurricane, which makes me point at an enemy unit and make them fight last. Now, moving on to troops, I've got a min squad of Assault Intercessors, Chainswords and Bolt Pistols. They're going to be my midfield, get up. If he comes close to me, punish them back units. With them, I've got a squad of Incursors. They will my Scout deploy, maybe a bit of a bait. Let's see if I can get him to bite, bring the fight to me so then I can punish him for that too. And then I've got a squad of Stalker Intercessors. So they're just regular intercessors, but they have a stalker profile, which means they're heavy weapons, and my intention with them is just keep them in the backfield, hold my objective, and shoot across the board. Now, coming into the real meat and potatoes of my list, I've got one min squad of Wolfen. They are and always will be my answer to every problem that ever comes on the board. They hit like a tank. They're at strength 10, -3, flat 3 damage on Thunderhammers, and they are always counted to be in Assault Doctrine. They move fast and they are feral. So again, beware. Moving on, I've got 2 squads of Wolfguard with jump packs. Now these are both 10-man squads, 5 of which have dual lightning claws and 5 of which have storm shields and lightning claws. Now they move fast. Their reroll wound roll really helps, and the high AP on the lightning claws means they can cut through anything like it's butter. I still haven't decided whether I will deploy them in a combat squad, maybe go for the objective game, or as one 10-man squad that will kill anything. But we will decide when we actually get into the game. To support them from afar, I've brought 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts. Now these essentially are the only shooting in my army, but armed with a macro plasma cannon and Accursed rocket pods. These Dreadnoughts can slowly move up the board, shoot from afar, and if anything dares try to lock them in combat, their fists have a ridiculous strength and damage D3 + 3, meaning that they will punch a hole through anything that comes into them. Now, rounding off my list, into my fast attacks, I've brought a 3-man squad of Thunderwolf Cavalry with Storm Shields and Thunderhammers. Now, they are a bit of a cumbersome unit to play, but they move fast with a 10-inch advance and charge. And at T5 with 4 wounds, they do not go down easy. Couple that with a 2-up armor and a 4-up invuln from a storm shield, they are nigh unkillable half the time. And to round out this list to be a little fluffy, I'm bringing 15 Fenrisian Wolves. Now these guys, I playfully like to call them chain swords on legs, because they have 2 attacks, strength 4 minus 1/1. They're not particularly the best unit competitively, but at a 15 squad, they will kind of crowd the board, move block my enemy, and maybe just be a real nuisance for him to handle. I am starting this game with 3 CP, and let's see, I don't really have a plan for Tempest, so we'll see the secondaries as they come up. And with that, let's see what the word bearers bring.
Fighting the Space Wolves will be my first heretics, the word bearers. So I have 2k points and they are in a 1 battalion detachment. My Legion trait is Profane Zeal. So there's 2 parts to this. The first part is that I, in a lot of situations, will get rerolls to attacks, which is very powerful. It makes my guys very, very deadly in combat. And my second part of Profane Zeal is that on a d6, whenever I take a mortal wound, on a 5-up, I just don't take that mortal wound, which is amazing in case I die in droves, which I will this game. Onto my list. My HQ is a Master of Possession. They will be my Warlord, and they will have the Warlord trait Master of Union. They have the mark of Slaanesh. Next up is my Demon Prince. My Demon Prince will have a mark of Nurgle, and they will have the Psychic Power Elix and Death Hex. And to round up my HQ, I have 1 Dark Apostle because I'm a word bearer. I can't leave home without it. They shall have the prayer, Illusory Supplication, and they shall have the mark of Slaanesh. On to my elite choices. My first very, very deadly and my favorite unit in the game so far is my 10-man Terminator squad. They have 5 Power Fist, they have 1 Twin Accursed Weapons, they have 1 Heavy Flamer, and they have the mark of Slaanesh. So my Terminators are going to be my Death Star. I hope they kill everything because I don't know what else can. Moving on to my Possessed. Again, Word Bearers and Possess, such a good combo. My Possess is a 10-man squad with 1 Chaos Icon. It's very weird I can't take a mark of Chaos for my Possessed, but I just can't. They will also have the relic Black Rune of Damnation, which is -1 to wound, which is very deadly, especially how fast they are. If Jugel doesn't pay attention, they're gonna kill everything before he realizes it. My third elite choice is a 10-man Chosen Squad. This Chosen Squad will have 4 Combi Melters in them, and they will also have 2 extra Accursed Weapons. They have the Mark of Khorne, and they are going to ride in my Rhino. They are going to be very fast. I hope that they just really annoy him, get into his flanks, that kind of stuff. Moving on to my troops, I'm not bringing any cultists this game because I wanted this to be a very Legion heavy army. I have 4 squads of Legionnaires, 2 of them are bare boned, nothing on them, and 2 of them have 1 plasma gun each. They have no marks of chaos. They're just going to score me objectives, maybe become a nuisance, force him to rearrange his units. I don't expect my troops to do much, but I hope that they score because this is a scoring game. My only heavy support is 1 Vindicator, no upgrades. It's a Rhino with a big gun. I wanted to blow some stuff up. It's going to be fun. And to round out my list, I have 2 Rhinos, stock standard, no upgrades. They're just there to carry my Chosen or my Legionnaires around the table. So in this game, I'm planning to have my HQ, so my Master of Possession, my Dark Apostle, and my Demon Prince to buff my elites, that's to say my Terminators, my Possessed, and my Chosen, and have them just destroy everything they see. If I can't do that, then uh-oh. So I am starting the game with 9 command points, and that's going to be so weird for me because I don't really know a lot about command points. So I hope I remember to use the right stratagems at the right times. My first game of 40k in a very long time, so let's all do this together. So now that we've seen our armies, you can go in the comments, say who you want to win, and now we're going to transition to a deployment.
So Archivist, I thought I'd take a moment to describe our terrain features to you and give you a better understanding of what the battlefield will look like. So coming down here, we have an area terrain. Now this is a ruin, so it'll give you light cover, defensible, and obscuring. Now this is the same keywords that affect this ruin, this one as well, ruin over here, and ruin over here. So as you can see, we have 4 area terrains on 4 corners of the board. Now coming over to the more complicated pieces of the terrain. Now this is basically a defense line. So the pipes count as barricades. So that will give you heavy cover, light cover, defensible, and a barricade. The plasma terrain is just line of sight blocking. But the admech terrain, if you're shooting through line of sight going through this, it is considered as dense. Now this is mirrored on the other side here. Now not as big a dense terrain, but it is have the same keywords. Now on the admech terrain here, so the scaffolding here is considered as dense terrain, so shooting through it will be -1 to hit. The reactor over here is just line of sight blocking. The barricade, the pipe over here is a barricade, as mentioned earlier, and the reactor here is another line of sight blocking. Now this area terrain is replicated identically over here, even though it's done with different pieces. So this would be dense cover, obscuring, or line of sight blocking, a barricade, and line of sight blocking. Today we've drawn a Tempest of War match. So we shuffled our decks, drew our cards, and we've drawn a Dawn of War deployment zone. With that, we've also drawn the mission, Claim the Battlefield. Our primary objective is, well, claim the battlefield. So we get 5 victory points if we hold one objective, 10 if we hold one and hold more than our enemy. And then we have another action, which sounds odd, but it sounds very similar to banners. It's an action that we do on a different objective, and it's completed at the end of our turn. And if we still claim this one objective at the start of our next command phase, we get 2 victory points for each one that we do. But here's the catch. If our opponent takes the objective off from us, it is officially unclaimed. So then we got to do it all over again. So now we've rolled off for attacker and defender. I won the roll off and chose to go attacker, letting our humble guest here be defender and deploy his first unit.
So I have deployed my unit here. As you can see, I've tried to match his width with width of my own. As you can see over there, he has a very sneaky space wolf on one of the objectives, which I have to kill very quickly. I was hoping to just contest these 2 objectives, but he put that one there, so my whole game plan was a bit muddled up. But I'll go through here. So in this rhino is 2 squads of Legionnaires. Each of them has 1 plasma gun each. Massive blob of possessed with my Master of Possessions. Remember, he has the Master of Union, and he's also my Warlord. So this guy is going to turn this possessed unit into a deadly Death Star. Now I have some Legionnaires on an objective over here. I have my Dark Apostle right here. This is my big blob of Terminators. Hopefully they'll go down the aisle, kill those 2 disgusting new advanced Dreadnoughts, wipe them out, and claim the objectives. My Demon Prince will be helping out on that as well. Moving on to here, this is another Legionnaire squad. He's going to just run up, get that objective as soon as he can. Vindicator. And in here are my 10 Chosens, Mark of Khorne, 4 melter guns, going this way. As you can see, there's a big blob, very big blob of wolves there that my Vindicator is very keen on deleting. Hopefully that works out. And that is my deployment. I'm just going to try to match strength for strength, and hopefully my Zealots will win.
Alright. So, coming over to the Space Wolves deployment, I've tried to just be a Space Wolf. I've deployed aggressively, but I'm trying to be a little cunning here. So since it's a Tempest of War, we've had to put our own objectives down. So to that end, I put one objective here, just behind a barricade, where I knew a squad of intercessors would be standing. My opponent clearly had the same mind, so he put down his objective by the barricade as well, which is currently covered by a squad of Legionnaires. And we've put 3 objectives in the midfield. One in the dead center of the board, right under this building. One my opponent's placed over here, just in front of his battle line, so he's going to try to get that one quick. And we put another one back here, which again, I knew I was going to bring a squad of Accursed there. I'm trying to put a little sneaky there. I wonder if you guys can figure it out. And since my opponent went defender, I forced him to put his first unit down, which let me be in the driver's seat of counter deployment. So I put down my Redemptors right over here with the idea that they should be able to gun on quite a few of those threatening Terminators. They do scare me, and hopefully with me wounding them on 2s with the -1 3s, I should be able to whittle a couple of them down. The Incursors right here with Stalkers, so they're not going to be moving, but they should get good line of sight across the battlefield. And I put a lot of my speed, my jump packs and assault intercessors back here, because I just know that this side of the board is going to be a battlefield, along with my chaplain and my librarian. And to counter the speed on this flank, I've moved over on this flank where I've got my 15 Fenrisians and my Thundercav, just as a counter deployment to his Chosen and his Rhino. So I'm going to try to match his models for models. And hidden away in the building right here is my Wolfen. So the way they're positioned, I can either reorient them to go after the Vindicator, the Rhino, or the Terminators if they choose to come in the midfield. So I'm trying to be a little clever here, but I do feel the call for blood, and I do want to go out there and cut. Now with both armies deployed, let's see who goes first to the most important dice roll in the game. Let's see who goes first. 1. Oh, word bearers are going first.
Yes, for the Dark Gods. So, beginning of the game, I'm the first player and I drew 3 secondary missions. No prisoners, blood and guts, and overwhelming firepower. But because I have not a lot of firing units in my army, I have mostly melee, I used this new order's core stratagem to replace overwhelming firepower with investigate sight. Now, I also, in my command phase, I had my Dark Apostle roll for a prayer. He successfully rolled on a 3. Illusory Supplication up to my Terminators. Now moving on to my Warlord, I also successfully put Master of Union onto my big squad of Possessed, so they are very deadly now. Now onto the movement phase. So beginning of my movement phase, I moved my Possessed 9 to here. They are going to try to charge the Incurses. I made a mighty advance with my Master of Possessions. He rolled a 6. So he's just right behind them, giving them moral support. Here, my Legionnaire does nothing. They're doing a good job already. I'm going to take one of the mission actions in order to claim this objective right over here. 5 guys are just going to sit on it, and when they sit on it into the next turn, the effects will apply. But we'll talk more about it then. My Terminators, I also advanced. I rolled a 4 on the advance, so they moved a mighty 9. I also advanced with my Legionnaire onto this objective from this ruin. They rolled a 4, mighty 10. They are now just hugging the wall, claiming that objective. I moved my Vindicator right over here so that they can have a good line of sight on those many, many wolves. I also then moved my Rhino with my Chosen up here just to deny any charges to make this flank secure. I also moved up my Demon Prince and my Dark Apostle. I didn't advance with them, I just moved them up. And they're just there, again, behind them, giving them a pat on the back. And that is my movement phase. Good. So now for my shooting phase, and although I'm not going to do much, I do have a Vindicator with a Demolisher Cannon. And he is going to look very angrily at that Thunderwolf Cavalry unit and then blast into him. So my Demolisher Cannon is heavy D3 plus 3. So D3, so 2, so that's 5 shots. So I have 5 shots now. I'm hitting on Ballistic Skill 3. This is now rolling for 2s to wound.
Nice. 2 wounds.
2 wounds. And these guys are at AP minus 4, damage D6.
Okay, so AP 4, they have Storm Shields. I'm going to take it on the 4 up involves. Fail both.
Nice.
Roll the damage one at a time.
One at a time. Okay, D6, come on.
1 damage.
I will spend 1 CP. I'm now down to 8 CP to reroll that disgusting 1. Whoop. Come on. Much better.
5, okay,
5.
so that's a 1 dead.
1
And now, next one.
Next one, I'm going to roll 4.
That's another dead.
Great roll for my Vindicators. He took down 2 Thunder Cavs, and I'm very happy about that because that's a very fast, very deadly unit. Now I am going to shoot the Combi Bolter on my Rhino into these little small doggies. They are toughness 4.
Yep.
So Combi Bolters, they're at 24, so just 2. Nothing. Doggies live for another day. Over here to my second Rhino, I am going to shoot my Combi Bolter into these Assault Intercessors.
Yes.
Hitting on 3s and wounding on 4s. Give me 3s.
1 hit.
Give me 4s.
So since they're in light cover, they get a 2-up armor save. That's 1 damage. I'll take it.
A wonderful shooting phase for the Word Bearers. But now it's fallen onto the Assault. And there is only one thing I can assault, and it is these Incurses for my Possess. Now I just need to get them to the barricade and they can do some killing. So let's roll to charge. Wish me luck, give me a 4. That is an 8, they are in. So my Possess, as you can see, have consolidated, piled in into these Incurses. 5 of them are in combat range and 5 of them are not. But those 5 that are not, I've made sure that they are within range of my Masters of Possession. So now I am going to roll 25 attacks because each of these guys have 5 attacks. Now the champion is over here, so he has 6 attacks, but he's not in the combat. So now we are going to roll 25 dice. My weapon skill is 3 up, so show me them 3s. So I'm wounding you on 3s again. Bad at all. So these are at -2.
Okay,
damage each.
so 10 at -2, armor of contempt reduce it by 1, and heavy cover from the barricade reduce it further, so it's 3 up armors. And that's the unit white. So that's 5 dead, exactly. Oh well, so much for my Incursors.
Great news for me because this has triggered 2 of my secondary missions. So Blood and Guts, I killed a unit completely in melee. No prisoners, kill a unit. Very good roll for me. So that's it for Word Bearers turn 1, and it was a pretty good turn for me. I managed to get rid of a lot of Thunderwolf Cavalry, managed to kill a squad of Incursors. Overall, I did pretty well. Now I'm just going to have to weather the onslaught of Russ's Sons, which will be very painful. Let's go on to Jugal.
So welcome to the Space Wolves turn 1. This has been a rather expensive command phase for me, but I'm hoping it will pay dividends. So straight off the bat, I drew my objectives. So I drew Blood and Guts, same as my enemy, so I need to kill 3 units to get 5 victory points. I drew Defend Strongholds, but I can't do that action in the first turn, so it told me to redraw it, which I redrew to bring it down. Now my enemy has identified his highest wound units as his 2 Rhinos and the Vindicator, so you know my targets, and they're so tempting, right where they are. And the third one I drew is Investigate Sites, but this is where I spent 1 CP to draw new commands, and I drew Grind Them Down. You can see how the stars are kind of aligning for me here, but let's not get greedy. Moving to the command phase, my chaplain rolled both of his litanies, so I drew Litany of Hate, which I rolled a 2, and then I drew Mantra of Strength, which I rolled a 2. Thank you God for Wise Orator. And to cap it off, I spent another 2 CP, 1 on Instinct Awaken, I think. Bestial Nature, which puts the 10-man squad of Wolfguard in the Assault Doctrine. And I put Wisdom of the Ancients for reroll hit rolls of 1 onto the green Plasma Redemptor. Now with that, I'll go into my movement, and you can see how my plans will start to unfold. Here we are with the Space Wolves movement. Turn 1, this is going to be quite murdery, and I'm hoping that it works out the way I've planned, but I might have been a little overambitious. Let me talk you through it, starting on my left flank. The Ferenzians over here have made an impressive 6-inch advance, so they've gotten straight in my enemy's face. hoping to tie some stuff down and get some murder done with these chainsaws on legs. My TCAP, on the other hand, is only made a 1-inch advance, so the Emperor giveth and the Emperor taketh away. My Wolfen have come out of the building, they've moved 8 inches here, and I've pre-measured it as a 6-inch charge to the Rhino. That should be quite doable, but again, you never know with these dice. The Redemptors, I've chosen to keep them where they are, because at the moment, they are currently 15 inches away from my enemy's Terminators. That means even if he moves, he still has to make a 10-inch charge, and I'm willing to take that gamble. My intercessors back here, I was just staying on the objective, and I'm getting them to do the claim objective mission secondary, so they won't be doing any shooting or anything this turn. Over to the fun side of the table, as you can see, my backlines are completely empty because everything has moved up front. My Wolf Guard has moved 12 inches here, my Assault Intercessors here. My 10-man squad of Wolf Guard has moved just about here. I know it's a little confusing with the units. A 5-man squad has moved over here. And my Chaplain, who can advance and charge because of his Warlord trait, has moved 21 inches over here, because his Warlord trait also gives him a +1 advance. For my Psychic phase, I'm going to have my Librarian cast Instinct Awaken onto my Chaplain. Now this is a bit of a precarious situation because with this Rune of Damnation, if I roll any doubles, I peril. And just to declare my other Psychic power while I'm at it, I will cast Murderous Hurricane onto the Possessed, so I can get in the fight last. First, for the Instinct Awaken onto the Chaplain. That's a 5, it's a fail, I'm not going to CP roll that. And for Murderous Hurricane, that's a pass on a 7. Would you like to deny so? That's a 7, no. So Murderous Hurricane now means that the Possessed over here will fight last, and they cannot fire Overwatch. The shooting phase should be kind of poultry and rather quick, but we will get through it quickly. So, in the shooting phase, for the Space Wolves, I'm going to start with the green Plasma Redemptor. He and the blue are both going to attack the Vindicator over here, shooting through dense cover, so they're hitting on 4s. But the Wisdom of the Ancients from the green should mitigate that to some degree. So the green Redemptor, again, like I said, all his shots are going into the Vindicator here, starting with the Plasma. The Macro Plasma Cannon supercharging, number of shots, D6. 5 shots, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. That's 3 hits. So I'm wounding you on 3s. 2 wounds, AP -5 in the Devastator Doctrine, so I don't think you'll get an armor save. So that's just flat 3 damage each, so that's 6 damage into your Vindicator.
The 6 left.
Okay, now let's move on to the Accursed Rocket Pod. D3 shots, 2 shots, hitting on 4s, 1 hit, wounding on 4s because stuff is 7, not a wound. Let's go on to the Onslaught Gatling Cannon. 8 shots, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound at AP -2.
4 up.
Yes.
Give me a 4. That's a
No,
1.
so that's another 1 damage.
They are on 5 wounds remaining.
And the 2 Storm Bolters. 4 shots, hitting on 4s. No rerolls, but 1 hit. 5 to wound, 1 wound at no AP.
No AP.
So 3 up armor.
Loves it.
Okay. Now to repeat with the other Redemptor. Same profile, Macro Plasma Cannon, supercharging into the Vindicator. Number of shots, 4 shots, hitting on 4s, rerolling the 1s, because it was on the Ancients. Thank you, 1. And I take 1 mortal wound, because I rolled a 1. Wounding on 3s, that's a wound. Again, you don't get a save, because I'm AP 5 at this point, so that's another 3 damage.
So I'm on 2 wounds left.
Okay, let's do the Storm Bolters, 4 shots, hitting on 4s. Rerolling 1s, wounding on 5s, 1 wound, no AP, so 3 up armor.
Loves it. 2 wounds left still.
The Onslaught Gatling Cannons, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Oh, thank you, Wisdom of the Ancients. You hacks. So that's 4 attacks, wounding on 5s, nothing. And the Accursed Rocket Pod, D3 shots, 3 shots, hitting on 4s. 2 hits, rerolling 1s. 2 hits, wounding on 4s. That's 1 at AP -2 in the Devastator Doctrine.
Give me 4 up.
That makes it. Okay. Almost had him.
I want to put just 2 wounds on here.
So I will be throwing a crack grenade from the squad, the 10-man squad, into the Possessed. Since they're the same profile, there's no difference, I'll roll them together. So 2 crack grenades hitting on 3s, and both fail. The assault intercessors will again shoot into the possessed. I will throw 1 crack grenade and 4 pistol shots. So let's do the pistols. 3s. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound at AP -1.
Me 2 up. Yep, loves it.
And now for the 1 crack grenade. Hits. Wounding on 4s because you're toughness 6.
Toughness 5.
5. Okay, so still fails. Now for the really fun part, the Space Wolves charge phase. There's going to be quite a few dice, so we will roll them off screen, but I will declare them in front of you here. So for my Fenrisians, I'm going to dual charge the Rhino and the Vindicator, hopefully so I can outmaneuver them a bit. The T-Cab will charge here into the Rhino, and the Wolfman will charge into the Rhino. Over here, on this side, this squad of Wolf Guard will charge the Possessed, as will the Intercessors. It's a bit of a long stretch with them, but I will try. The 10-man squad will charge here. It's a 4-inch charge. And the Wolf Guard here and the Chaplain will charge this Rhino. So hopefully, after the charge rolls are done and the fight phase is done, there should be 4, maybe 5 dead units.
So as these wolves are going to charge into my Vindicator, I'm going to use the Overwatch stratagem. I'm going to go down to 7 CP, and now I can just fire. Because it's a blast weapon, I have maximum number of hits. So I'm just going to have 6 shots.
1 hit.
1 hit. Yep, wounding on 2s. Wounds, AP -4.
I have no save, so this is 1 dead wolf.
Yes.
Okay, for fellow Archivist, this has been a glorious charge phase and I'd love to share it with you. So let's go through it one at a time. Straight off the bat, my Fenrisians made a 12-inch charge after advancing. I dual charged the Rhino and the Vindicator, so I've kind of boxed in the Rhino altogether. This is going to go terribly for them because my Wolfen also made a 12-inch charge. So we all know what's going to happen to that Rhino over there. The Vindicator I may come around if my Fenrisians can't do anything about it, but let's see what that is. My T-Cab over here made a 5-inch charge, so he completes the boxing in. Over to this side of the board, my Wolf Guard over here made a 6-inch charge, kind of wrapped in the Possessed here, so as my Assault Intercessors. My Librarian, unfortunately, left him behind here, so he may or may not be looked out, so that might be a chink in my armor there. My 10-man squad of Wolf Guard here made a charge. Unwittingly, I didn't need to spend the CP, but I re-rolled it anyway to get a better charge, so they moved in a bit more. My Chaplain made a 7-inch charge towards the Rhino over here, and I positioned him such that his 6-inch aura still carries over to the Assault Intercessors on the other side of the barricade. And to round it off, my Wolf Guard made an exact 6-inch charge required to get to the Rhino. Now, with Murderous Hurricane still in effect, these Possessed will have to fight last, but couple that with their fight first means they get cancelled out. So he can interrupt if he so chooses, but I don't see him interrupting with anything else. So I'm going to start my fight there. I'll be back once I've rolled my buckets of dice. Okay, so we've come back after rolling the attacks for the 10 Wolf Guard. 5 with Dual Lightning Claws, 5 with Lightning Claw Storm Shields. So that amounted to a monstrous 45 attacks. Hitting on 2s, 6s double exploding because I put them in the Assault Doctrine. And rerolling everything because of the Litany of Hate. So after the wound roll, which is again all reroll, we've come to a staggering 32 saves for him to make on 5-ups.
So these are on 5-up invols. Okay, so these are 32 armor saves that I'll take on my invol. 5-up. I think there's only 8 saves. So 8 guys are dead. I'm going to let everyone else attack now and then take them all away because there's still a lot of Space Wolves hungry for flesh.
Alright, Archivists, in a bit of impatience, we inadvertently accidentally rolled the dice rolls off camera. But here I am to give you a quick summary. So the remaining Wolf Guard from my other squad unit here made their attacks. So 20 attacks, hitting on 2s but no rerolls and 6s only exploding once. Rolled pretty terribly, got quite a few 1s. After the wound rolls and the rerolls, he had to make 9 5-up involves.
I made a lot of 6s, but I also failed a lot. So as you can see here, I did not make a lot of 5-up invol saves, and therefore 2 more of my Possessed are dead, wiping the squad.
Moving on to the fight phase on this side of the battle, we're going to continue on with the Chaplain. He's going to put all his attacks into the Rhino here. Now he has 4 attacks base, 5 on the charge, 6 because of the Mantra of Strength went off. So we got 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, rerolling everything because the Litany of Hate is still on. 6s exploding once. No explodes, but I will be greedy and try to reroll all of them. No 6s, but you know, no 1s either, so I'm happy with that. So I'm wounding you on 4s.
4 up armor. Let's make it count. I
Oh,
made 2 saves, but I failed 2.
So that is 8 damage that's gone through.
8 damage. Mine, it's on 4 left. So, not very good. This is a very weak rhino.
Now, continuing on with the other squad of Wolf Guard that's in combat there. Now, these are the dual Lightning Claws ones. So, they are hitting on 2s, 6s exploding once, but they will reroll everything to the Litany of Hate again. Okay, those are some healthy 6s, but enormous number of 1s. Thank you, Litany of Hate. Rerolling. So, I'm wounding you on 5, rerolling.
12, 4 up armor. Let's roll high.
Oh, that's really good.
That's quite good, yes. Yes! Huh, look at, oh, no.
Now, you do have a choice if you want to spend a CP to try and save the Rhino.
1 CP, I am now on 6 CP. Come on. Yes, my Rhino lives.
On 1 wound.
On 1 wound, that's right. You know what? Lorgar blesses.
Moving on in the fight phase, we're going to continue to the Wolfen. I am spending 3 CP in the fight phase. 1 for Death to the Traitors, meaning I can reroll the hit roll into any Heretic Astartes. And 2 CP for +1 to wound, which means my Wolfen will be wounding on 2s. So just the Thunder Hammers, that's 16 attacks, because 4 each. Hitting on 3s, but rerolling everything. And 6s double explode, because they're always in Assault Doctrine. That's another 2. And I am wounding you on 2s with a +1 to wound.
So these are 19 armor saves on my Rhino. This is 3 up, but it goes to 5s. So show me those 5s and 6s. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
It does not explode.
I'll use 1 more command point. Now I'm down to 5 command points to emergency disembark all of my very expensive chosen in there.
We'll be back after we've seen where they can all fit.
As you saw earlier, I was mosh pit by so many dogs, but with the emergency disembark stratagem, I managed to save all of my expensive chosen from dying horribly in a burning rhino. They are just behind all the wolves now, and hopefully in my turn, they can dish out some damage and get some vengeance on the possessed.
My Thunderwolf can't attack anything, but my Fenrisians have piled into the Vindicator. Now, between the chain swords and some lucky rolling, maybe I can take the last 2 wounds off that one. Let's hope. The last 2 in the line back here can't fight, but the remaining 10 can. So that's 10 attacks, hitting on 2s, 6 exploding once. Let's see if I can do anything.
3 up armor. I just need to make 2 of these, no, 3 of these. So he's on 1.
Okay.
So my Vindicator, still alive, still going strong. We'll take some vengeance next turn, no doubt.
Okay, with that, nothing else really to be done. Let's tally up my points, because I did the action here, but that will count in the next turn. Blood and Guts, I did kill 2 units. So it doesn't really get me anything, because I need to kill a 3rd. Bring It Down, I did kill the Rhino. So I do get 5 points for Bring It Down. And Grind Them Down, because I've successfully killed 2 units while my opponent only killed 1. So I do get to Grind Them Down as well. We'll be back with the scores and Word Bearer's turn 2.
So this is now Word Bearer's turn 2. In the beginning of my command phase, I gained 1 CP, so I'm back on 6 CP. Furthermore, I am going to not discard or touch any of my secondary missions. I'm going to keep them all. I figured that might as well. Also, with my Warlord, Master of Union no longer is in effect because the closest demon unit is right over here. That is to say my Demon Prince, because all my possessed have been killed. So nothing from him. I have casted a prayer on my Dark Apostle. Illusory Supplication, my Terminators, went off successfully on a 3. And now it is on to my movement phase. So word bearers movement phase now. The first thing I did was release all of my legionnaires from this one rune rhino. My legionnaires then moved around so that they can all have line of sight to this very, very naughty warlord. My very good warlord has also moved up to be directly in front of them. Remember, he's a master of possession, so he can smite and then charge. So that's my plan. I'm going to assassinate this warlord and hopefully get some vengeance. Moving on, my demon prince, who was over here, advanced and had a mighty 6. So he is now right behind this building. I'm trying to go to this objective to claim my investigate site secondary. Hopefully that works out in the next turn. Moving on, my Vindicator, who was in combat with these wolves, have fallen back, and in their place a lot of Terminators have now gone through the alleyway and are up here. I've also moved my scoring Legionnaires away from the corridor so that my little area here is packed full of Terminators.
1 second.
So I'm also going to declare that my objective holders are going to do the action so that on the next turn they can score some victory points. So this is Wordbearer's Psychic phase. The first thing I'm going to do is cast Smite with my Warlord against my enemy's Warlord. So I'll need a 5 for this. I rolled well with a 6. So
I will try and deny with my Librarian back here because he can't see him, and I will try and deny because he's within deny range. So I need a 7 to deny you. That's denied with 12.
Snake Eyes. No, not Snake Eyes. Opposite. Boxcars.
Yes, boxcars. So that is denied.
Okay, so now I'm going to cast Smite with my Demon Prince on the Wolf Guard. Now, because of I did it once, now I need a 6 to smite. Rolled an 8.
I will deny because I just have one additional deny because he's the chief librarian. Let's see what I can get. Come on, 9. No, 8. So that's successful.
Great. Now I'm going to roll a d3.
1
damage.
Okay. So that's 1 damage from the psychic phase.
So Word Bearer's shooting now. First thing I have to say that these guys, my Legionnaires here, have taken an action to have victory points, so they will not be shooting.
Yep.
My 5 units of Legionnaires here have not moved this turn, so they're going to put all their fire into this Wolf Guard unit. Because they have not moved, I'm going to have 10 shots with my bolters. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. Just 3s. Give me some armor saves.
They have Storm Shield, so they have 2 off armor saves. They're good.
Great. Moving on to my Warlord. Grenade. Into the Chaplain, my enemy Warlord.
That's a fail.
No luck there. Moving on to these 2 squads of Legionnaires, I'll do them one at a time. And just to note, each of these 5-man Legionnaire squads has 1 plasma gun in them. So I'm going to do the plasma gun first, and I am obviously going to overcharge it. Play for wins, man.
It's a hit.
That's a hit.
Plasma guns are fun.
Oh, okay. So that's a fail, but that's a hit. They are now...
Wounding on 3s and toughness 5.
Wounding on 3s. That's a 1. Now I'm going to shoot with my bolt guns from the remainder of the squad.
No AP, so 3 of armors. Make 2, fail 1, so he takes 1 wound.
Let's do it all over again. Plasma gun, overcharge. So, alright, just then I shot my plasma gun into his Warlord, and I had a wanton shot of a 6 to hit. So now I have an extra hit.
Both wound. So 4 up and roll for my chaplain. Make 1. So I take 2 damage.
So the remainder of my Legionnaire squad is going to shoot with their bolt guns. 6s are exploding.
This count as extra hits.
Ooh.
He leaves me on 1 wound.
Now I just have to do this clump over here. First thing to note, this fell back, so can't shoot. This is doing an action for victory points, so they also cannot shoot. That means the only unit that can shoot is my Dark Apostle and my Terminators. I'll do my Dark Apostle first. Bolt pistol into the wolves, exploding 6s. That is 1 hit, no wounds. That means I'm going to have all of my Terminators pump their guns into here now. So 8 combi bolters and 1 heavy flamer. Hitting on 3s. Rooting on 4s.
I love a challenge. Okay, so 2 wolves somehow shot, but then the other ones blew up and killed them anyway. So that's clearly them dead, because that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's more than the starting unit, so that's dead.
Great, wipeout.
Yes.
Okay, so I just wiped out a bunch of walls in the shooting phase. So I have gained a secondary mission, no prisoners. I have done a total of 30 wounds to my enemies, and that is victory point scored. Now I am going to shoot with my chosen into this Wolfen squad. They have 4 combi melters, but I'll only use the melter gun option. And they also have 4 bolters, because I have replaced 2 of the bolters with 3 accursed weapons. I'm going to do the melters first. So these are 3s to hit. 3s to wound.
Come on, 4s. Okay, so that's 2 dead.
Now I am going to shoot the 4 bolters remaining in my chosen squad into the Wolfen as well. Let's go for gold. Then I'm going to roll to wound now.
On 5s, because it's T5.
5s.
So they'll take it on 3 up armor. Make it.
I love it. That is it for my shooting. Now we are going to go into our assault phase. My assault phase has gone quite well. Let's go down onto this side of the board. The first thing I did was charge my Warlord into my enemy's Warlord, and I rolled a mighty 10-inch charge, so I'm in. I then charged my Legionnaire squad into the Assault Intercessors, which I rolled a 6, allowing them to just manage to get in. That also gives me the benefit of contesting this objective, so next turn, they can't do much with it. I'm very glad about that. I also charged my Legionnaire squad, my second Legionnaire squad over here, into the Wolf Guard. Everyone made their charges, excited about that. Let's move on to the other side of the table. So my Terminators charged the Wolfen, and they got in with a mighty 11-inch charge. Mark of Slaanesh, fast boys. My chosen over here had also ample opportunity, so they charged the Thundercav and the Wolfen. They rolled a 6, all in. So I have powered in with my Terminators here. They have also powered into the Thunderwolf Cavalry. The first thing I'm going to do is have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these Terminators are going to punch the Wolfen. Then these 3 Terminators will fight the Thundercav, and these 2 Terminators down here will do nothing because they are out of combat range. First things first, 2 Power Fist and 3 Accursed Weapons will hit the Wolfen. One of my guys has 2 Accursed Weapons, Lightning Claws, so he will have an extra attack. Let's do the Power Fist first. So I'm going to roll 6 attacks, all with Power Fist, into the Wolfen. Yes, hitting on 4s, hitting on 3s.
Taking on the involves, 4 ups. Make 2. So 1 is dead.
Okay, so I have Accursed Weapons attacking now, because I have one who has double Accursed Weapons. It's going to be 1 additional attack. Come on, hitting you on 3s now. Okay, so I have Accursed Weapons, which is +1 strength. My strength of my Terminators is 4. The toughness on the Wolfen is 5. So 5s to 5s, 4s to wound. I wound 4 times.
Okay, make 3.
Now I'm going to finish the combat with the Terminators by having these 3 pump all their hits into the Thundercav. They have 2 Power Fist and 1 Accursed Weapon. I'm going to do the Accursed Weapon first. So this is 3s to hit. 4s to wound. 1 wound.
AP 3.
AP 3, damage 1.
So 4 ups either way. Make it.
Makes it. Now I'm going to do the Power Fist. These will be 4s to hit. 3s to wound. 2 wounds.
4 ups either way. Make them both.
Loves it. Now my Terminators have done their combat. Now for my chosen. I'm going to...
before you do that, I'm going to spend 2 CP to interrupt and fight with my chaplain first. So my chaplain will attack into your warlord first with my 6 attacks. So I'm hitting you on 2s. That is 2 mortal wounds and 3 saves at AP -2.
I will do the mortal wounds first. I am a word bearer. I can ignore these, but I can't.
You do not?
Do my 3 saves.
Yep.
Come on. Yeah, 5 up invul.
So he's just dead because that's 12 and then 2, so 14 damage.
Unfortunately, my Master of Possession is quite dead. There goes my Warlord.
And I think that would actually work towards my Bloods and Guts that is still active.
Nice.
So that would be my 3rd unit killed.
After the disastrous death of my Warlord, my Chosen will take their fury upon these furry lads. 5 of these Chosen is going to hit the Thundercav. All of them only have 1 accursed weapon. My 2 additional accursed weapons are all going to hit with the Wolfen, but that will be in the next stage. 5 hits. Each of them have 3 attacks. 3s.
So
Thundercav.
6 -3, so 4 ups. Make 3. So he lives on 1 wound.
Yikes. Now for my remaining 5 Chosen, 2 of them have additional claws, so they have 2 attacks extra. So we are hitting on 3s now. Give me 4s. This is not bad at all.
Okay, so 9 saves on the Wolfen on 4 ups. That's 1 dead and 1 dead. So you wiped all 3.
Excellent.
Now my Wolfen will fight back because they fight on death. I will be putting all the shots into the Terminators. So I'm hitting you on 4s. 6s double explode because I'm Wolfen. So I'm wounding you on 2s.
So I have my invul save of 4.
Armor saves 4 ups.
So 1 dies.
Now the lightning claws from him. So 6 attacks. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on, I'm strength 6. So wounding on 3s.
Invulnerable save is still 4. 1 more dies.
It's 2 damage. So
2
1 left on 1 wound.
Oh, 1 left and 1 wound. So I'll have him on 1 wound. Got it.
Okay. And with that, I say goodbye to my beloved Wolfen.
Yes. Very happy that they have died.
I don't know, why is everyone always happy to see them leave the table?
So going to this side of the board, my 5 Legionnaires over here have charged successfully into the assault intercessors, but have been heroically intervened by the Wolf Guard. I'm going to put all my attacks into the assault intercessors. Hitting on 3s. 3 wounds.
No AP.
No AP.
I will get heavy cover from the barricade,
Okay.
so I will get 2 up armor saves. I'm good. So now with that done, we'll now move to protracted combat, and we'll start with my Thunderwolf cavalry here. He will put his wolf's bites into the possessed, and the thunderhammers into the chosen, and the thunderhammer shots into the chosen as well. So starting with the wolf, hitting on 3s, 6 exploding once, so 1 hit. So I'm strength 5, toughness 4, so I'm wounding on 3s. That's nothing. Now moving on to thunderhammers. He's the sergeant, so 3 attacks, hitting on 4s. That's 1 hit. Wounding on 2s. That's 1 wound at AP -2.
4 up armor save. No. Unfortunately, 1 dies.
Now for your viewing pleasure, we got 10 Wolfguard who have piled in and will attack the Legionnaires with lightning claws. 5 with duel, 5 with only 1, but all up got together 45 attacks. Hitting on 3 since I didn't charge, but the Litany of Hate is still active, so I will reroll fails. And of course 6s were double exploding. And I will reroll all of these to try to get more 6s. All up, we don't know how many dice these are, but we do know that there was 30 additional attacks from the explodes. So we're wounding on 4s, rerolling fails. Cocked. Going for the rerolls. Now with Armor of Contempt, he will have 5 up armor saves.
Oh, they're dead. End of Word Bearer turn 2. quite a good round for me. I managed to sweep up most of the walls over on this side. Unfortunately, this side is also continuing to fare very badly. Again, I've just lost a lot of units here that I can't really afford to lose at this point. But overall, pretty decent turn for me. I'm still excited, although this Thunder Cav is tying down my entire front, and that was not an outcome that I wanted. I wanted that guy to die, but Space Wolves are just too tough. My secondaries, I managed to get Blood and Guts, because now I have wiped out all of his Wolfen unit. So that's another couple of victory points for me. So that's it for Wordbearer's turn 2.
Alright, here we are to the Space Wolves turn 2. This should be a very interesting turn. At the end of my last turn, I achieved all 3 of my secondaries. So I drew 3 new more. So that means I've drawn behind enemy lines, secure no man's land, and extend battle lines. Pretty synergistic objectives, because I just get 2 units behind in my enemy's deployment zone. I get 5 victory points. If I hold 2 objectives in the midfield, I will get another 5. And if I just control the 1 in my own and 1 in midfield, I get another 5. So quite easy secondaries for me. In the command phase, I pulled off the Mantra Strength Litany on my Chaplain and the Canticle of Hate. And now that he successfully made a charge last turn, he's got a 6-inch aura of Advance and Charge. I spent 1 CP to put a 5-man squad of Wolf Guard into the Assault Doctrine. I will point them out and we come to the movement. Now, for the movement phase, Thunderbolt Cavalry is still stuck in combat there. I can't do anything about that. But I've decided to pull my Redemptors out front. Hopefully maybe shoot at the Legionnaires, maybe kill them, take them off that. Maybe kill the Vindicator. My Stalker Intercessors still remain where they are, but they might be able to put a few shots out. Over here, these Assault Intercessors haven't moved, but since they're still holding the objective, I've chosen to do the mission action of claim the objective. My 10-man squad of Wolf Guard have moved over here with an advance of 1. Didn't really come in handy, but now that they are here with the Chaplain's advance and charge, they should be able to go ahead and wreak havoc. I moved the 5-man squad of Wolf Guard over here to come try to take that objective and attack the Demon Prince. I might be getting greedy, but they are the ones I've put them in the Assault Doctrine. Over here in the back, I've moved my Librarian from back here up to the Rhino. I've positioned him such that so if he does smite, the Rhino will be the one to fall. And I've got another squad of Wolf Guard back here who will charge and kill the Legionnaire. As you can see, I'm not really putting too much stock in the shooting phase, but the fight phase will be murderous. In the psychic phase, my Librarian on the far back is going to cast a smite onto the Rhino. I just needed to pass. I don't think you have any denies. Oh, passes with a 7.
In that case, I will try to deny.
You need a 8.
That is not an 8. He does not deny.
So that Rhino does get destroyed. Do you want to see if he blows up?
Might as well. That is only a 5 on my roll. He does not blow up. He just dies.
Coming into the Space Force shooting phase, we're going to start with the Green Redemptor over here. Now I will be putting the Plasma and the Accursed rocket pods into the Vindicator back here. I will be putting the Storm Bolters and the Onslaught Gatling Cannons into the Legionnaires here. Now they are on this side of the dense cover, so I shouldn't take the penalty, but we will see how the shooting phase goes. Starting with the Plasma into the Vindicator, D6 shots, supercharging. Number of shots, 5 shots. I will be hitting on 3s. That's 3 hits, and I take 2 mortal wounds. I'm wounding you on 3s. That's 2 at AP -4, so you get 6 up armor saves.
6 up armor saves. Dead.
And that's a dead Vindicator. Does he blow up?
Good question. On a no, it's a 5, not a 6.
Okay. So much for the Accursed rocket pods. Now we'll move on to the Storm Bolters, who should be within half range of the Legionnaire, so 8 shots, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s.
3 up armor save.
That's 1 dead. Now moving on to the Onslaught Gatling Cannon, 8 shots, hitting on 3s. Oh, nothing. Well, so much for that shot. Before I go to the other Redemptor, I'm going to put my Stalkers here. That's 5 shots. I can target his lone character on the back there. So 5 shots from Stalkers, hitting on 3s because they haven't moved.
I'll save.
Oh, nope. That is 4 damage because Stalkers are 2 damage weapons. Now moving on to the other Redemptor. The Master Possession is on 1 wound. If I had killed him, it would have been better, but we live and learn. So I will be putting the Redemptor shots into the Legionnaire, except the Onslaught Gatling Cannon, which I'm going to try to kill the Master Possession with. So the Macro Plasma Cannon from the blue Redemptor will be hitting the Legionnaires. Since you remove the one in front, I will be copying dense cover again, so I'll be hitting on 4s. So non-supercharged, number of shots, 6 shots. Hitting on 4s because you're dense cover. Wounding on 2s.
6 up saves.
Makes 2, so that's 2 dead. Now the Accursed Rocket Pod from the Redemptor into the Legionnaires, D3 shots, 3 shots. Hitting on 4s, 1 hit. Wounding on 3s, 1 wound at AP -1, so 3 up armors.
3 up armor save.
He's good. Now the Stormbolter, I'm out of rapid fire range, so just 4 shots. Hitting on 4s, 2 hits. Wounding on 4s, 1 wound at AP -1, so 3 up armors.
3 up armor save. Makes
and he's good. Now for the Onslaught Gatling Cannon into the Dark Apostle. 8 shots, hitting on 3s because you're not in dense.
3 up armor saves. Oh, 1 dies. Oh, in that case, I'm going to use another one. It's called Hexagrammic Ward. When an attack is allocated on a model, change damage to 0 for 1 CP.
Okay.
So I'm on lower CP now, and this guy's still on 1 wound.
My 2 Wolf Guards will just throw crack grenades into him, into the Demon Prince. Let's just see how that goes. Now there are 2 crack grenades, but the profiles are the same, so I'm just rolling them together. Hitting on 3s, 1 hit. So toughness 6, so I'm wounding on 4s. That's a wound at AP -2, so 4 up armor.
4 up armor save. I make it.
Okay. Alright, now we're back to the Space Force charge phase, the phase which I so ardently love. Over here, my Wolf Guard is successfully charged with a 7, and my Librarian is charged with a 7 into the Legionnaires. Moving on this side over here, I've got my 10-man squad of Wolf Guard. They made a 7, but my Canticle of Hate gives me +2, so they moved 9 inches. And I dual charge the Demon Prince and the Legionnaires. My Chaplain follows suit, and I moved him here. Now, this squad of Wolf Guard, a 5-man that charged from here, I charged them into the Demon Prince, but I sort of stretched them out such that this last model, though he cannot attack the Demon Prince, he is within range of their objective. To the Space Wolves fight phase, I'm choosing to fight with my 10-man squad of Wolf Guard over here, 5 of which will put their attacks into the Demon Prince and 5 into the Legionnaires. I am spending 2 CP for +1 to wound. Now, we have gone over the mark of Nurgle, and it states that he is -1 to wound if I'm equal to or double his toughness. But it does not apply if I'm in between that, because right now I'm less than his toughness, but I'm adding a stratagem to +1 to wound, so I can wound him on 4s. Now, let's start with the attacks that are going into the Demon Prince. So we measure them up to be 24 attacks, hitting on 2s, 6s exploding once. No rerolls because I did not pull up the Litany of Hate. So wounding on 4s, rerolling fails. Unless your dice rolls are that good.
Hope so. Okay, let's roll. Oh, enough for him to die.
Yeah, I did 11 wounds into the Demon Prince.
Oh, dies.
So now to finish the attacks for the remaining Wolf Guard in the 10-man squad, there is a bit of a fly in the ointment because 2 of them are on the side of the barricade, meaning which he will get heavy cover against their attacks. So I've decided to do them separately, meaning which the red dice, the 8 attacks coming from the heavy cover side, he will get +1 armor, +1 to save, and the rest he will not. So let's see how it goes. Hitting on 2s, 6s explode once. Now I am wounding you on 3s because mine +1 to wound, but I'm rerolling fails. So these are the successes. Not a very good reroll, but I will take them. 18 saves, for 7 of which you will get heavy cover.
Okay, I'll do the heavy cover first. 3 up armor. Yeah, over 2.
So that's 1 dead.
1 dead.
So you lost 3 in total. You still have 2 left.
So I'm going to spend 2 command points to interrupt Jugal's combat phase. I'm going to use my Legionnaires and have them attack the Warlord. Hopefully he kills them because they are only on 1 wound left. So let's roll 3s to hit.
5s to wound.
5s to wound.
Come on, 3 up. I'm good.
Yikes.
Now the chaplain will fight back because he pulled off Mantra Strength. He's got 6 attacks. Hitting on 2, 6 exploding once. No explodes. Wounding on 3s because I'm strength 7. That's 2 mortal wounds in addition to the 6 saves you have to make.
I'll make the 6 saves first. These are
AP 2, so 4 up armor.
I make... Ooh,
that's the unit dead.
That's dead units. No need for anything else.
Oh well. Now, after that combat, I have consolidated my Wolf Guard in. I was hoping to get them wholly within this deployment for my secondary, but that looks like it's not going to happen. So I've only got my chaplain in his deployment zone. Moving on to the fight phase for the Wolf Guard over here. They will be putting attacks into the Legionnaires. That's 25 attacks, hitting on 2s. Now I'm wounding you on 4s, and I'm re-rolling fails. Now let's see about re-rolls.
4 up armor on all my Legionnaires. 2, 1 is left on full wounds. That will be the Sergeant.
I will continue on with my Librarian, who will have 4 attacks on the charge. So he is hitting on 2s, 3s. No, Librarian does nothing.
The 1 Legionnaire will attack the Librarian, hitting on 3s. 4s. No wounds. He does nothing.
Now in protracted combat, you can finally go ahead and kill this one Thunderwolf off.
I'll do the Power Fist first. There are 3, 4 Power Fist. Hitting on 4s. 3s?
Yes. On the Stone Shield. He's dead. Woohoo!
Yay.
Bye bye, Wolfie. And with that, folks, it is the end of the Space Wolf's turn. At this point, we've looked over the board, looked over the scores, and Kevin and I have both decided that there isn't really a way for the board bearers to come back from here. We could play for points, but with Tempest, we never know. So we won't want to waste your time, and we will be going into a summary judgment over here. So Archivist, that was our game. We've had a pretty short one because, well, I won too quickly again.
Too strong.
So with that game being done, I wanted to thank Kevin for coming on to our show. You do have a guard army that you're planning to bring, aren't you?
I also have a Demon's army that I'm excited to bring onto this channel one day.
So he's going to bring a lot of tanks and a lot of flamers, and either ways I'll be crying in a corner. But let's leave future games for the future. And about today's game, Kevin, where do you think the game went well for or badly for you?
I think in the beginning when I deployed my army, you put your incurses on one of the objectives, and my brain just kind of freaked out. I just thought I have to do something about that. So my original plan was to be very defensive, be like a tortoise. But then when I saw the incurses, I was like, whatever, let's just go big, go wide. And that was a bad tactic. His incurses baited me out, and I took the bait.
I will admit this army could have been more gentle, because I think this is more akin to what you see in a competitive army. I did try to soften the blow with a lot of Fenrisians, but clearly that did not go as well as I planned. But that being said, your Terminators did scare me. Like, I did not move my Redemptors just to stay away from them. That Black Rune of Death, it does scare me. A -1 to wound, it is very dangerous.
Yeah, that Black Rune of Damnation on my Possessed was scary, but I just didn't use my Possessed very well. They just died so quickly, and if I had got them into a Wolf Guard unit, oh, that would have been...
Yeah, if you had charged me,
yeah,
this game would have gone the other way.
Yeah, I should have also put all my Terminators and Possessed in the middle, because again, all my Terminators were on that edge, and that really hampered me at the end. Yes,
but unfortunately, that is the nature of Tempest of War. We can't plan our secondaries, and this was our first time we were playing Tempest of War. So, viewers, if you saw something that you think we did wrong, or we could do better, maybe explain the objectives better to you, please let us know in the comments down below. We will be reading those, and we will try to answer each and every one of them. But I do request, please be kind. This is a new channel. And while you're down there, the like button and subscribe button should be down there too. but only if you think we deserve it. And with that, thank you, Kevin, for coming on. I do look forward to having my wolves attack the tank after their Primarch, named after their Primarch.
Leman Russ versus Leman Russ.
Yes, the Russ versus the Russ. And with that, Archivist, as always, let the stories roll.